told me there has been no trade discussions. There have been no trade talks with the Lakers. There's been, people, I ain't gonna throw teams out there, but people have been speculating on certain teams that he might be interested in. I told all that talk is false, that there has been no trade talk, there has been no extension talk. He clearly opted in and he wants to win. And he believes the Lakers have what it takes to maximize Luka timeline, but also maximize and prioritize his timelines.
Let's start with the big fish right now, and then I'll get into the other news. LeBron James exercises his player option right for $52.6 million. Obviously, he's not going to become a free agent, which made me scratch my head a little bit when I heard this Rich Paul statement that he released, saying LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. This is very ambiguous to me. If LeBron James signs this player option and gets a lot of money, then he's near the end of his career. At the same time, and you also mentioned you appreciate the Lakers, but realistically you're trying to win it all, then if that's the case and you believe in them, why mention that? And if you are mentioning it, LeBron is near his career. It's not like he could go and play another 3, 4, 5 years somewhere else if the Lakers don't get it done. Basically, whether the Lakers try to win or they don't try to win at all, it ends up in LeBron probably retiring next year. We'll see what happens, man. Let's move on. Since this news is more shocking and has more implications, I get a notification on my phone saying that the Milwaukee Bucks signed Miles Turner to a $107 million deal over 4 years. I thought, okay, that's a great move. They lost Brook Lopez to the Clippers. I'm going to get into that acquisition later in the video. They could use a center. Miles Turner is right now better than Brook Lopez in my opinion. Cool. It never occurred to me that they had to release Damian Lillard in order to make that deal happen with the cap. Now, obviously, I'm seeing Giannis Antetokounmpo is not happy with that.
And the tweet you just put out about Giannis.
Yeah, sources that relate to me that Giannis Antetokounmpo is not pleased with the Bucks' decision to buy out Damian Lillard for the remainder of his contract. And he just didn't like how it was handled.
I assume from the Bucks' perspective, losing Brook Lopez, then having to wait for Damian Lillard at an older age to recover from his Achilles, they are trying their best to keep the team afloat. This is a short-sighted move in my opinion. Adding Miles Turner and then releasing Damian Lillard in the long run is not going to get you a championship. It just may uphold your team to potentially still stay in the playoffs since you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Then on the flip side, man, the Indiana Pacers, you made the NBA Finals and now you just lost a key integral piece of your team, especially when a squad like the Indiana Pacers, they don't rely on just one specific person. It is a collaborative effort for that team to really go far. Now you lost someone who was an important piece to that nucleus. The Memphis Grizzlies re-signed Jaren Jackson to a $240 million contract for 5 years. This is my thing. When I look at Jaren Jackson, two-time NBA All-Star, great defender. However, throughout his career, the Grizzlies have almost treated him like a role player. And the reason why I say that is because he only has, I believe, one season where he played over 30 minutes a game. Now, I think he should be playing a lot more, but my point is when you have this kind of contract and you give it to somebody who's not really known as a scorer either, has 1, 2, 20-point per game seasons, I believe, recently, then how much worth does that contract have down the road if the Grizzlies don't end up building a championship squad and win? Now, I do see that the Grizzlies signed Ty Jerome from the Cleveland Cavaliers to a $28 million contract for 3 years. I believe that's an absolute steal. Ty Jerome is a bucket. We're talking about somebody who could literally score 15 to 20 points in his sleep easy. For those who didn't really watch a lot of Cavaliers games, he's very capable of that. It's just bittersweet since they really just traded away Desmond Bane. Didn't get much back in return, in my opinion. And Desmond Bane was definitely someone who could not only score but play elite defense on the other side of the ball. So overall, yes, I like the Ty Jerome pickup. But if I was a Grizzlies fan, I still would be skeptical as where the team is going into the future. Let's go to the Dallas Mavericks, who signed D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year, $13 million contract. I'm a fan of D'Angelo offensively, man, and I think people are getting him on a huge discount because of his reputation, the season that he had, his final one with the Los Angeles Lakers. This guy is an absolute offensive machine. What a player to have in replace of Kyrie Irving until he comes back, and then what a player you have coming off the bench to really command your second unit. Great move for the Dallas Mavericks. And then we could go to the Los Angeles Clippers, who got Brook Lopez. This is another move that was really great rate. It's not going to move the needle all the way to a whole nother position, but at the very least, it does improve the Clippers team. They got basically a great backup for Zubac, or maybe another version of Zubac that is not quite in his prime, but can still play defense and then spread out to the three-point line and space the floor, which is something that Zubac doesn't have on the offensive end. Speaking of centers, the Houston Rockets have signed Clint Capella to a 3-year, $21.5 million deal. I love this because centers are undervalued and they're not worth as much, even when you're somebody like a Clint Capella who could get 15 rebounds, 15 points in his sleep if you just play him about 30 minutes a game. But due to the NBA's obsession with small ball, players like this aren't appreciated for the skill set that they still have. Here's the real deal with the Rockets though. As we know, they just acquired Kevin Durant in a trade. They had to give up Dillon Brooks, a part of that, in order to get him, which is totally understandable. It's Kevin Durant. And now they signed Dorian Finney-Smith to a $53 million deal over 4 years. That, in a sense, is kind of the Dillon Brooks replacement. I think Dillon Brooks is better, more so offensively. But when we think of Dillon Brooks, it's not really his offense. It's rugged defense. This is what Dorian Finney-Smith brings. Excellent pickup to really beef up the roster and the bench. Another key player transaction that caught my attention was the Denver Nuggets traded Michael Porter Jr. and a 2032 first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson. I like this trade for the Denver Nuggets for these couple reasons. Number one, Cam Johnson is going to give you more of a balance both sides of the ball. He can play some defense, also score. Not quite the three-point shooter Michael Porter is. However, he's not a bad one by any means at all. And also, they freed up cap space. Michael Porter was owed almost or roughly around $40 million for the next 2 years annually. Cam Johnson is owed roughly half of that. So this is a win for the Denver Nuggets. I'm also seeing that Jordan Clarkson reached a buyout with the Utah Jazz. He intends to sign with the New York Knicks. There's no specifics behind the contract, the length, and the worth. Either way, this is a great move for the New York Knicks. They don't really have a scoring punch off of their bench outside of McBride. Now you're putting in a guy who averaged 16 points in under 30 minutes. Those two will be a tandem, especially at the guard position, to really try to give Jalen Brunson a break when he needs it. Excellent move by the Knicks. I'm going to end things right here, guys. It's July the 1st around noon. There's still a lot of moves that are probably going to be made. Where is Damian Lillard going to go? Lakers. They're linking DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers as well. All right, you had a move with Jonas Valanciunas. There's a lot going on. I could keep just waiting, but let me give some more smaller updates, potentially in some shorts. Let me know in the comment section what you think of all these moves I mentioned so far, where the NBA is going. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment section. As always, salute for listening. Peace.